I want you to listen to this video, and I'm going to say one or two things about the video.
3 times. First of all, let me tell you the disturbing story behind this particular picture. As Malcolm X said, you cannot liberate a slave that has found comfort in captivity. Now you see the man with the afro. Yes, I'm sure you all know him. His name is Soyinka. He's a Nigerian. Now he's a novel writer, whatever he does. So in 1986, during the height of apartheidship in South Africa, you know, this Nobel Peace Prize things was going on. That Nobel Peace Prize, I don't know what it is. So this Nobel Peace Prize thing was going on. Now the African writers then decided to boycott that 1986 Nobel Peace Prize because prior to that 1986, they don't recognize Africans to be qualified for that award until this man Wola betrayed the whole Africa. Look, go and read this book, The Lion and the Jewel. Then you see what I'm talking about. Wola betrayed the whole Africa, went there alone to take that Nobel Peace Prize award. He is a proper propagandist. He's always against Africa progression. This greedy man, Wola Soyinka. I don't want to go deep into the story, but just know that one man betrayed Africa in 1986. He betrayed the whole African writers community. Wola Soyinka. Posterity will not be nice to this man.
You see, in this generation, we have not been able to properly raise our children. So they are grossly ignorant. And in that ignorance, they celebrate their wisdom. They think they know when they don't know nothing. This young man is raining insult on another Nuret, Soyinka, for whatever reason that he has. For instance, he believed that during the apartheid war in 1986 was the same time that the Nobel Prize was boycotted and they gave Soyinka a Nobel Prize in literature, and he received it. So to the young man's own understanding, Soyinka should have rejected the Nobel Prize because it was given to him by the Europeans, and there were war in South Africa. So the young man doesn't understand what it means to have received a credit from the gift of your intellectual prowess. He quoted Malcolm X, and he forlornly forgot that Malcolm X was alive when Dr. King received the Nobel Prize. He didn't go ahead and told Dr. King, why did you receive a Nobel Prize that was given to you by the Europeans? Why did you do that? The young man doesn't have a holistic view of how the world works. And today we don't practice what I call filial piety, respect to the elders. We misbehave as we like. We insult whosoever we pick up. So somebody like Soyinka, in his level of intellectual spring, is the person you are insulting. A man who have shaped the culture of Africa, introduced us to the rest of the world in a new limelight. You still have the temerity to lay insulting. Now, for instance, if you had issue with Soyinka, that's perfect. But if it is because there was something happening in Africa called the apartheid, and Soyinka's literature was honored by the Nobel community, that he should reject it, that simply means you are dumb, you are stupid. Did you forget that even Nelson Mandela himself, after the apartheid, received a Nobel Prize? He should have rejected that and say, this Nobel Prize are given to me by the Europeans, so I don't need it. This man too to receive the Nobel Prize because of the war they fought during the apartheid. They would have said, we don't need it. And the wife of Nelson Mandela as well received the Nobel Prize. And several other people have received Nobel Peace Prize for the same apartheid that you are accusing Soyinka for receiving a Nobel Prize. One thing that most of us don't understand is that in our quest to prove that we Africans are unique, we want to say that every white man is bad. That's erroneous. I know for sure there are those who are practicing racism against us. But you can't say that because 20 people or out of 100 million people, that 70 million people are practicing racism, then the rest of the 30 million people are also bad people when they still treat you like your own kind. I'm not a stupid person. I approach life from empirical point of view. If you look at when the black Americans were suffering, there's what happened in Hampton Ferry. They killed a white man with all his family members called John Brown. He was a white man. He fought tirelessly to end racism in America. That was a white man. So should I say anything that has to do with white people, then that white man is a stupid man? Or he fought for you. In fact, he was far more black than you can ever be black. That is the type of understanding I have. And another understanding is to understand that you don't put your heroes down. Yeah, they may have their own shortcomings. You do have your own shortcomings. Now, if you compare your life, there's no need, because there's no, I become crazy if I start comparing you with Soyinka. The whole idea is, what have you really done for African people? Have we been able to take our culture to the rest of the world? No. Have we been able to invent something that makes life easy for our people? No. So what makes you think that you are of more understanding about the problem in Africa more than Soyinka that you have to insult him? This is a mentality of young people across the continent. They pick an elderly person and they sort the hell out of him. That's not our culture. That's not our custom. That's not our norms. Those are adopted alien mentality. In the olden days, you are meant to respect your elders, except in a position where your life is at stake. You have to survive. So you don't put elders in view at all at that point. I mean, I support you at that point. I will support you. But when it comes to the idea of what happened, that he received the Nobel Prize, and for whatever reason you call him a betrayer, you're sick. Do you realize that other races cannot do the same thing? Right? Like, for instance, now, go and take a video or take a text and publish about Rabindranath Tagore, who was the first non-European to win a Nobel Prize in literature. And whatsoever he has done in his country, India, and look at how the young Indians are going to respond to the post. They're not going to accuse him. Today, if you post about most of our giants and heroes, we tarnish the person's image. Our own people. For instance, if I pick up the name now and say, the Zeke of Africa, you still find out that so many young people in their naivety insulting Zeke. Are you dumb? Do you know what he did? If you pick somebody like Kwame Nkrumah, they still don't, so we don't have a respect for our heroes and our elders anymore because of our stupidity. And nobody cautions us for that. And our parenting are not giving us the right ethical value to live by. There are things you don't even temper with or think about at all. Such a man, such a noble man, I know he has his own shortcoming. Every human being have their own shortcoming. That's for fact. But if it is because of, quote unquote, the appetite that he should not receive the gift that came as a result of his literary prowess, you're sick. It is simple. Do you realize that most of the time why you are being known, or your country and your continent are known globally, is because of these people? It is his type. Gugu Ationg, Chinua Achebe, they are the people shipping your culture to the Western land, and they are buying it. Otherwise, what you and I are doing here, nobody knows we exist. Let me tell you what you don't understand. A storyteller is mightier than a warrior. One of the reasons African people are the way they are is because they don't have storytellers. Nobody recorded whatever their ancestors did. So today there is always a debate. We are the one that did this, we are the one that did that. That's what writing does. If you don't know the place of writing, don't open your fitty mouth at all. There is nothing more noble than writing. If you don't know, you know it today. And he has done his own part. If you have any problem with that, sort yourself out. But for him not to accept the Nobel Prize because he was boycotted or whatever reason for whatever you are saying, it doesn't make no sense. As a young man in Africa, begin to protect your heroes. Begin to respect your heroes. Don't put them down for whatever reason. Can't you get it? In other part of the world, you don't see them put down their heroes. Okay, you look at the founding fathers of America. Do you know that some of them had slaves? When people are saying that that is a bad act, their citizens still don't put them down. They still regard them as heroes. I'm not saying that it's good, but I'm still telling you, compared to what you are trying to bring up on the table, it's nonsense. Flimsy ideas, flimsy, stupid, irrelevant excuse. It is one of the things I've come to accept to respect my heroes. If they had not been here, I would not be who I am today. They opened the veil of your eye. Now, let me tell you, when Nnamdi Azikiwe finished school and returned to Nigeria, many black Nigerians working under the Europeans were naive, were fearful, were not bold. They had no self-esteem until Nnamdi Azikiwe could stand before anybody, be it a manager, a white man, or whatever. He will stand before you and speak to you in a manner that you will never have thought of. And he gave his people the boldness, the courage, that whatever these people are, I am. Yet people here still say Nnamdi Azikiwe is this, is that mentality. What have you done in your own path? If you must do anything in the continent of Africa right now, it is not about putting down other people. It is about articulating the problem for us and providing solution. You can't go anywhere on the internet and see a white man insulting their heroes. It's not possible. The Asians, is not possible. Do you think those people are angels from heaven? We are human beings that can make mistakes. But always realize that the goodness you do will always outweigh whatever mistake you've made. You talk about Malcolm X. Should I give you account of what he said about people who he thought have done something wrong? Yet he started talking about Noah being a drunkard and other people in the Bible. Yet what they did outweigh those things you think are bad. This was the consciousness that the young man arrived to when he met a certain person who had a sexual issue, which he never thought that such person in such pedestal could do. But in order for him to realize that, come on, this is a human being, he had to retrace back in history. If there are people who have done this, and how did we put them? Heroes are made to be revered. For if you put them down, you can't produce another hero. It is fact. So what I want you to do right now is, if possible, put down this content and start changing your perception. Stop creating enmity. Stop thinking that we are fighting ourselves. We are trying to mend the pain and the scars that we created within ourselves in the past. And you are saying these things right now. It doesn't make no sense. What we want right now is unity in Africa. I just wanted to point out to this, and the reason why I did so is because I see young people doing what they ought not to be doing. They put a lot of insults, verbally abuse their heroes. You look to Europe, they don't do it. Asians, they don't do it. They revere them. It is just a mentality. So if you think he did something wrong, compare all of them with these people that I call their name that also received another prize. They would have said, because apartheid, I will never receive this. You don't understand how the world works. You need to read. You need help to even articulate the entire existence of man before you open your filthy mouth to insult the people you ought not to insult. This fact, if you have any issue with them, sort yourself out. If there's issue in a system you believe that is part of it, create a solution for that. Your existence is to solve problems. Right now, what I want you to do is simple. Go ahead and share this video with your family and friends. And don't forget that I remain Captain Africa. Ad Astra.